So you've just picked up your brand new Qi35 Driver. You're probably already hitting it a little bit further, but here are 3 quick things that you can do on the golf course that I use that can help you pick up a little bit more distance. Now the first one is all to do with how you move the club away from the ball, the takeaway. What we tend to find is that the golfers who have more speed early on tend to have the ability to generate more speed at impact. I was told as a junior golfer, you might well have been told this as well, that the best way to move the club away is low and slow. It's not really the best way. You look at the longest hitters, there's often a lot of energy early on in the golf swing. And if we're looking to create more speed down at impact, we need to move the club away a little bit faster from the golf ball. A little bit more energy early on gives us a little bit more speed down at the golf ball. So I like to use a little visual analogy. Sounds a bit strange, but if you use this, I think you're going to see some big differences. I like to visualize the bottom of my golf club. So where it's all the branding, the Qi35, is stuck to the floor. So for me to move that club, low and slow won't really move. I've actually got to use my core, I've got to use my legs, and I've got to use the ground to do that. So imagine that club is stuck to the ground, and I'm actually going to be using my body to feel like I put some energy into the club and I unstick the golf club from the ground. This move away here looks a little different to something that's like this. You look at Rory, very visible shift off the golf ball. He's using the ground and his body to get some energy into the golf swing. So let me hit one, and I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to get myself ready, a little bit more energy early, get that club moving with a little bit more speed. And I'll take that one as the first drive of the day. So straight away, that's going to give you a little bit more oomph, a little bit more jump up in club speed, ball speed, and distance. The second tip is all about what you do through impact. Now, what we see from the greatest drivers of the golf ball is as they transition from backswing to downswing, they have a shift of pressure to that lead side. What they then do is they use that pressure that's built up under that lead leg and they push back and up away from the golf ball. What that does, it actually has an effect on this end of the golf club because your hands are connected to the grip, your arms are connected to your shoulder, and as we start to move the body and push away from the ground, it has an effect on the grip, which actually causes the club to accelerate and kick out the golf ball. So it can actually help you kind of square the club face as well, but really, we're using this as a little bit of a distance tip. So here's what I want you to think about. Get heavier to then get lighter, okay? Think about that. If I could measure how much I weigh, think if I did a jump. As I jumped, I would push down into the ground. That would make me get heavier, and then I would push away from the ground, and ultimately I would get lighter. I would weigh nothing when I'm away from the ground. That's what great golfers are doing. They are, from transition, getting heavier, and then they're getting lighter as they push away from the ground. So think about that in transition. Get heavier to get lighter. If I do that, add it to that first point, we should have a little bit more speed. Heavier to get lighter. And what you might see, there's actually a little bit of movement in that lead foot as I go through the golf ball. Because I'm pushing away from the ground, there's less weight on that foot, it's more likely to kind of move. So do we see a jump up in club speed? Not too bad, 108. So the final thing to give you a little bit more distance is actually just to get you to hit up on the golf ball a little bit more. As you hit up on the golf ball, that's conducive to more distance through higher launch angles, reduced spin, better optimizing of ball flight. Now your golf club is working around your body on a big circle. The later we can hit that golf ball, the more likely it is that the club is going to be moving up away from the ground. So if we move the ball forward, we tend to hit the ball later. Now many of you are already going to have the golf ball opposite the inside of your lead heel. So this final tip is actually take a slightly wider stance with your back foot. So I'm moving my right foot a little bit further away from my left foot. That gives me a wider stance. That wider stance sets my head more behind the golf ball, which means I'm going to hit the ball later in that arc. On top of that, I'm going to make sure that my eyes are parallel to my shoulders. That little bit of head tilt matching my shoulders gives me the visual that my golf club is going to be bottoming out earlier, rising as it hits the golf ball. If my attack angle goes more positive, I'm likely to achieve more distance. So faster away from the ball, get heavier to get lighter, little wider stance, and if you do those three things, you're going to see a pretty significant jump up in speed and distance. Oh, that was a good one.